Dear student, welcome again to our BA Part 3rd online class. In today's video, we will talk about The Refugee by K.A. Abbas. We will discuss this story in two parts. In first video, we will talk about the author and about the story. First, we will talk about the author. K.A. Abbas. He was born in 1914. He was a renowned journalist and fiction writer. As a journalist, he contributed substantially to newspapers such as the Bombay Chronicle, Bliss and Mirror. As a journalist, he focused on social and political issues of prime concern. As a fiction writer, he consciously depicts the tales of the common man and brings to limelight the issues of chief concern for ordinary people. His widely circulated and read volumes of short stories, Rice and Other Stories, and 1000 Nights on a Bed of Stones give his deep insight into human character. Apart from being a fiction writer and a journalist, he was also a filmmaker. His films Dharti Ke Laal, based on Bengal Feminine of 1943, won him great admiration from critics. He has extensively written on the themes of poverty, pain, and people's concern, which are still relevant today. In his autobiography entitled I Am Not on Islands, he attacks the artificial division between gender and religion. K.A. Abbas is one of the stalwarts of Indian writings in English. He also has directed many movies. His writings focus mostly on the pathos of the oppressed people. His short story, The Refugee, opens the eyes of the readers to injustice done on an old Sikh lady by the partition between India and Pakistan. So this was the introduction of the writer of the story Refugee, K.A. Abbas. Now we will talk about in brief about the story The Refugee. The Refugee is a popular short story by K.A. Abbas on the trauma of the India-Pakistan partition in 1947. Abbas depicts the poignant tale of Manaji, the old Sardarni, who is uprooted from her ancestral house in Rawalpindi and is forced to move to Bombay due to violence caused by the partition. From the double-storied building of Rawalpindi with lavish facilities, and three servants to attend to, Manaji moves to a single room lodging in Bombay, which she shares with other people and does all her household chores on her own. Rawalpindi was her world, her paradise, which she loses. She has friendly and cordial relations with all her neighbors in Rawalpindi and was unpersuaded by the initial phase of violence. But the cold blooded murder of a Hindu Tangewala and his horse compels her to leave Rawalpindi and become a refugee in Bombay. She moves into a small room which she maintains very well and is busy doing her domestic duties from early morning to late night. She bears this loss of fortune with patience and seldom complains about her present pitiful condition. The thought of Rawalpindi and its associations force silent tears to flow from her eyes. K.A. Abbas has given a very faithful and realistic account of India Pakistan partition in 1947, a macabre historical event through the life of Manaji, refugee. This was the brief of the story, The Refugee. At Rawalpindi, while communal riots between the Hindu and Muslims, a Hindu Tangewala and his innocent horse were killed in front of Manaji's house. This hilarious crime drove Manaji from Rawalpindi to Bombay. In Bombay, Manaji and her husband lived in a small house with their son. The house was very small with a single room. That room served them main hall, kitchen, room, bathroom, and also as a store room. At Rawalpindi, she had few servants to do her household works, but now she does all sorts of her work in house of Bombay. She kept her house very neatly. Occasionally, she sent letters to her Muslim neighbors at Rawalpindi. They also sent letters to Manaji. On reading them, she was moved to tears. She never hated any of her Muslim neighbors, even there was communal hostility between Hindus and Muslims. The old memories were very sweet to her and she kept wept on the past happy incidents with them. So, K.A. Abbas has portrayed the scenario of communal rights and an old woman affected by it. Manavji is the epitome of motherhood and good natured woman. Her Muslim neighbors are also good in nature, but the dirty politics and inefficient government has made an inseparable gap between the lives of them. This was the story of the refugee written by K.A. Abbas. In our next video, we will talk about a critical appreciation of the story.